a low variant from a split tongue is just sort of a poetic way of saying vernacular, I suppose. And I mean, the elements of the sign, to me, I suppose, like their particular style, represent vernacular. And I suppose as far as reflecting a particular historical moment, say as a critical kind of reaction to the Industrial Revolution, and then again, say in the late 60s into the 70s and early 80s as a reaction to, say, modernist tendencies or techno-utopic kind of solutions to urban situations or problems or whatever. But I think the second time around, and elsewhere in my practice, where my interest has sort of lied, has been, say, former revolutionary movements that are recycled and yet emptied of their original kind of content. A sign emptied of its content. I suppose we could seg into the material choices too. I mean, I've, chosen very specific materials and had the piece made in a prop house in a film studio. Everything is faux. I'm interested how people go back in time in order to grab an older aesthetic, choose from an older aesthetic, appropriate that to make a critical statement of a contemporary moment. So in the case of William Morris, he used medieval aesthetics to be critical of the Iron Age, or the Industrial Iron Age. So, yeah, I guess I am just asking that question. Why would you choose the patina of age? I suppose it's for a number of reasons. I mean, there's the kind of pitfall of nostalgia, I guess. Like when people make poor decisions, they think back, well, what could we have done or something? Or maybe it was better before, that sort of thing, which I find kind of tragic and comical in a way. You could ask me, so why don't I embody that, that authenticity with the materials? I suppose because I want to present the conflict inherent, say, in our desire for it to be real, and yet our impatience for its, what would actually be required for I don't know, labor intensiveness, or this sort of thing. And I have these conflicts as well. Those bronzes, I looked at them that I made, and I think, oh, well, I could just do that in foam, and it would be the same thing, because it's only ever going to be in an art gallery. You know what I mean? Right. And bronze has a different history. Say, it had to stand the test of time outside, or that sort of. Whereas this is a separate. This is a separate dialogue. Maybe going back to the low variant, or the idea of a split tongue. That this is a completely different parallel dialogue to what's going on outside of the gallery. So it doesn't really matter whether it's, has a material authenticity.